What's up, fam? I hope you all called 1877 Help Flav because we are back again with the Flavor of Love Kickback here on recapkickback.com. It's me, Chappell, and I am here again to take you through the ins and outs, the ups and downs of Flavor of Love Season 1. And with me, my co-host who is watching and experiencing all of this for the first time. It's been a little break, but we're back. We're back again to talk about it. It's Chantele. Chantele, welcome back.
You know what? I've missed us. I've missed this. I've missed New York. I've missed Flav. I'm just like, I've missed the show. So I'm happy to be here to talk back and kind of bring us back to all the episodes that we've already watched up to now, some unseen footage. We can just get to talk about this great show and maybe have some predictions of how it's all going to end. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I wanted to get into as well. So this is the recap of the recap episode, Flavor of Love. I think it's called For Flav's Consideration. We're going to look back on, how we started off with these 20 baddies and ended up with these final two on Flavor of Love Season 1. And the decision that Flav has to make soon, because he has to choose the woman who's here for Flavor Flav. He has to choose the right woman. It is no spoiler to Chantele that there is a Flavor of Love Season 2. So we know that shenanigans are afoot, but Chantele does not know who he is going to pick, if anybody. And so we are going to work through what it took to get us there in this episode. I want to thank everybody, first of all, for tuning in and catching us at our unorthodox time here in the wee hours of the night. I feel like this is fine. Again, it's a recap of the recap episode, so it's nothing crazy. If you've seen any of the episodes, then you already know what we're going to talk about. But I definitely wanted to go back over those things. And so, click like, share the video, let people know we're talking about it, because Chantele, you wouldn't believe this, but even after last episode, there's still more explosive stuff to happen. And I'd argue that season 2 might be better than season 1.
That's wild. Okay, do you know how long after season 1 ended that season 2 came? Like, was it like a year? Was it a couple of years later? Like, how soon after? Do we know?
Let's find out. So if I had to guess, I would say they were back to back, like a year apart. But like that's kind of wild considering how much they put into season 1. But it looks like the original air date for season 1 was January 1st, 2006, and season 2 aired August 6th. It says August 6th, 2006. It was the same year.
Okay, so maybe they filmed it originally 2005 and maybe August, and it aired, and then they just went right after they finished airing it. They just went into filming for the next season. I think they realized they had a hit, or that there was something enough going on that they knew that they wanted to capitalize on this. Like, they knew it was going to be explosive and like people were going to be watching it. So they didn't want to wait too long to capitalize on like the fandom. So,
this was like water cooler conversation. This was like as big as The Bachelor in the reality TV streets. Like if you were watching reality TV, this was everywhere. So I imagine that like season 1 is like filmed, it's airing, and about 3 episodes in, they're like, all right, let's check in on Flav and whoever he picked and be like, are you single? Because if so, we're running it back. And so we end up running it back for season 2 less than a year later. But first, let's take a trip down memory lane. Chantele, do you remember these women?
Not really. like the final maybe 5 or 6 women, like I remember pretty well. Probably like Hottie was probably after Hottie. I don't remember who left. I don't think. Obviously, we get reminded of certain people. Certain fight scenes. Seemed like we got the extended uncut version of one of the fight scenes anyways. I don't fully remember most people, so it's funny. Like, it's only been a couple months, and I'm like, ooh.
We left off the last episode with the altercation, the spit heard around the world. Chantele, it's been a couple weeks now. Looking back, how you feel about that moment?
Even when I was watching the recap, I was still like, like I'm still reacting to how disgusting,
so nasty,
and shocking, and I just was like, the control that Miss New York has for not actually pummeling her face in. I know she wanted to, and then we have Flav being like, just give us a second. What is that? Then you can go and beat her up. But yeah, I don't know. It would just be a natural reaction. I would have seen red, and I'd probably have like started fighting, and I don't even fight. But that was just nasty, and like, yeah, I would see red if it were me. So she's a better woman than I am.
I would have definitely done some jail time, like that for sure. You know, like it's okay to acknowledge that. Hey, I'm not built for situations like that, and I'm just not. Please don't spit on me. Don't make me do something that I'm gonna regret. You know, like that's because then even like we gotta fight, and then if I lose the fight, we gotta fight again. You know what I'm saying? Like you spat on me. That's like a blood feud between me and your entire. You know, like your kids gotta see me sometimes. You know, like it's crazy. But we do get the extended version of that fight. And Chantele, my favorite thing about, you know, once the camera's cut or whatever, is the interaction with the producers and Pumpkin. Because Pumpkin is hyperventilating. She's like storming out. Flav's like, that's not cool. That's not cool. And then you hear the producers like, wait, Pumpkin, you have to say something. You have to say your final words. Are you want to say anything? She's like, no, get the camera out of my face. They're like, okay, but you know you have to say something, right? Like, don't you want to say how mad you are? Don't you? They were like pushing her buttons. They knew what they had in front of them, Chantele. And they were just determined to get a soundbite from her in those last seconds.
Well, she clearly was on adrenaline at that point. I don't even think she was probably thinking or seeing clearly. Like being in such a high, intense moment, like spinning, fighting, hair pull, but running away, cameras, like produce, like that's a lot of information going on. And I get it, being like, I need a second. Like I don't know I don't even know if I can talk right now. But you know that the producers are trying to get something when you could see the producer in the shot. They're like, get this shot. We're not taking this off of you until we get this shot. And so we knew that they weren't going to let off with this moment. If you're going to be spitting in someone's face, you're going to have to talk about it. Like
that's real. No, you're not wrong. You did some wild shit. You're gonna have to answer to this. You can't just run away and hide in the corner. But the producer said, like, it's kind of hard that he brought all of that up at the very last minute. Huh? He didn't give you a chance to defend yourself. What do you think about that? It's like they're like pushing her buttons in a way where I was like, is this the job I deserve? Do I need to be a reality TV producer? Because I would be getting the sound bites. You know, it's like when we see those Big Brother exit interviews and people are like tiptoeing around the real question you want to ask, right? Like, so how did you feel? Were you blindsided by your allies? And they're dead ass wrong. And you just want to tell them, like, no, this is what happened. Get them. You know, I feel like I'm uniquely equipped to do this role, Chantele.
Well, maybe this is the direction you should go into. Like, how do you get into being like a segment producer? I don't know if it's a segment producer, but like if that's the title of that, or like, is it casting, or is it just a producer, or is it a casting producer that's doing these interviews? Like, who is it? Are they working in conjunction with the editors? Like, I would love that job too, because I'm nosy and I love seeing
I'm like,
drama.
I'm with you. Like, yeah, like we're in it. Tag us in. What we could be a tandem, like Chantele and Chappell, production assistants, whatever we got to do.
I'm in. Like, I definitely would like that as a job. I just don't know the path.
Yeah, me neither. So we start off the episode really focusing on our final two contestants, Nikki, aka Hoops from Detroit, Michigan, and Tiffany from upstate New York. Were you surprised that we got to see a part of their audition tapes? That was cool.
No, I mean, I'm not surprised, but I love seeing audition videos. Like, I love it so much. I work as an actor, so I have put 1,000 things on tape. And even to this day, like if I go back and see something from 20 years ago that I've done, I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a baby. Or like, I just love seeing people in those kind of moments with just a camera and probably like a casting person or whatever with you. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and we get a clip of Hoops basically introducing herself and talking about how she's from Detroit. But we also get New York describing herself. She says she's sweet and she's loving, but she's also an evil bitch sometimes. and she vows to be the very... Look, if that's you, wear it. Again, Pumpkin, why are you running? Be you. So, New York says she vows to be the first one to touch Flav. And she did. She was the first one. We get the flashback to him walking in. New York called her shot. Chantele, you and I have been gauging the New York love meter throughout, the entire season. Now that you've seen where it started, How do you feel?
Well, I think okay. Originally, I was thinking that like she's doing it for the cameras and this and that, and like, and I do think that she started off this way. It appears that they knew who they were going on this show with. Remember, we were kind of weren't sure whether or not they were cast for some random bachelor, and then it ends up being Flavor Flav. It seems like they were aware, at least at the point when we saw their casting videos. So with that, I do think that she may have helped herself fall for Flavor Flav. We do get a clip with her mom. We might talk about it a little more later, but where she's like, basically says like, we're going to be laughing about this later, right?
She said,
right?
are you on drugs? Tell me if you're on drugs.
Is he having on drugs? Like, so her mom does not think that she's seeing things clearly. So it would allude to the fact that maybe she might be in a little bit of a delusion about the situation. But she could have convinced herself that she does love this man. So I'm not sure if it's true love, but I do believe by the end of it, she believes that she loves this man.
Yeah, we get clips from the first episode, as Goldie calls it, the ghetto prom, where everybody has the same prom date. And we see when Flav first starts to link up with New York and Hoops. I think the link up with New York we did get in the episode. It was New York, it was Pumpkin and Flav, which is so crazy that that's how her journey started here. But we did get some unseen footage here from Hoops, and Flav is talking about how Hoops immediately got his attention, but he wasn't able to really get her one-on-one, and he could tell she was a little guarded. Now, to me, it feels like Hoops is looking at all the rest of these crazy women and being like, I'm not doing all of that. You know, like the ones that are going to his bedroom every night and stuff like that. Like, if that's what he wants, I'm not the girl for him. But Hoops is still here. What do you think about Hoops' journey so far?
Well, one thing that shocked me about both of them, and I think we discussed this before, but just hearing them say, I'm 23, I'm like,
oh my God. Babies.
23? Both Hoops and New York? I'm like, and he's what, 46?
46.
I'm just like, I was kind of been like, I understand why you're probably not going to be like other girls, like in his bedroom and whatnot. Like, it's just, for me, it's just a little bit too young. When I'm watching even Love Island, I don't know if you watched this most recent season, but there's one guy on, he's 22, his name is Ace, and I'm just like, he's a baby. Why are you guys like caring about what this
baby? Why are you acting like this?
Like,
yeah.
Right? Exactly. And so I was just a little bit of a red flag, and like, oh my God, what do these babies get themselves into dating this man that's twice their age, could easily be their father. Like, it just was, obviously it was fine at the time, and like watching the journey, it was fine. But when you hear I'm 26, 23, it's baby.
The babies. Like, when I was younger and I was watching this, I was in high school. I did not realize that they were so young because they're doing something that is so like womanly. You know, it's like,
yeah,
this is obviously they're dating a 46-year-old man. These are grown women, and now that I'm older than them, or when they were on the show, I'm like, oh, these were children. Like, these,
and like, you probably wouldn't even date somebody that was 46 right now. You know what I mean?
No, not 46 and not 23. You know, like, I'm just, you know, you got to be realistic. Maybe 46, but like, but definitely not 23. That's crazy. And so I was like, Flav, what's going on? But these two make an impact on him very quickly. We see several clips of New York being like, I love him and I accept him with all of my heart. You know, like, that's our girl. And it's so hard because I'm trying to put myself back in the mind frame of who I was when I was in high school. And I wish I could say I was rooting for New York, but I wasn't. You know, she's such a villain throughout this season. I don't think anybody had seen anybody like her on TV. I will always stand by that Hottie was a contender to be in that New York spot for craziest person on the season. But we get those clips from early on, the early fight that she has with Rain, where they're in the van on the way to the hot tub thing. And of course it pops off like this. They're like, New York, what do you do if Flav is naked? And she's like, I have a lot on my mind and I don't feel like talking. And Pumpkin responds, well, you know, you have the opportunity to get to know. And she said, well, what if I don't want to take the opportunity? And then Rain from the back seat is like, shut the fuck up. like, this is episode 2.
I know, right? And that was she really makes an impact. She allows people to feel things, and I think that's why she ended up becoming like such a star, is
Mhm.
because good publicity, bad publicity, like if people hate watching you, want to see your antics, that's actually really good for viewership. And so, yeah, I think the fact that people are hate watching for New York and some people are loving her because she's quite wild, is why they got a season 2.
Did you notice her tone kind of changes throughout the season too? When she's first on, I think she's a lot more demure and soft spoken during her confessionals. And by the end, she's like, Hoops is a whore, like that, it really changed up. You're an actor. You've worked with producers and directors and stuff. They're definitely being like, no, 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 give us more, right?
Even in a reality TV show audition, if you're doing a tape that they're gonna cut up whatever for producers, they're like they're amping you up, be like, more. Like they want you to go deeper, and like they're like, yeah. Like when you're starting to say something that they really are cheerleading and championing you. If you're saying something that they think is good, like they're
Mhm.
like get really excited. So 1,000,000%, these producers are egging them on to be wilder or to be more vocal or mean or whatever it is, but they're definitely hyping them up. Definitely.
Yeah. Now that you bring that up, we didn't see a lot of unseen footage from Hottie in this. Do you think that Hottie was just giving them gold, so all the stuff from Hottie is in the in the episodes? Because we got so many other little tidbits here, but you would think as one of the bigger characters that the producers have been like, no, 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 Hottie, keep going, keep going.
I'm wondering because they, for the most part, focused on just the final two. So
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
think that they just didn't want to bring in all the like everybody else as much, just so we didn't have like pull focus from the final two. That's kind of what I was thinking, because I was questioning like, oh, why have they've not shown anybody else? Like they showed a little bit of Goldie,
Mm-hmm.
obviously the fight with Rain, but off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody else that they had a little bit of a spotlight on. So
Yeah.
I think it's just that they wanted to keep the focus on the final two and things that really had to do with the final two for the most part.
Yeah. No, I agree. Harmony, I believe in the chat says embarrassingly, I think I was a hoops girly. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a hoops
I
girly. Chantel,
understand.
you know New York. You know full form New York. You've covered New York shows before, but you don't know baby New York. But seeing her, could you like you said, you could understand why someone would probably be more hoops than New York at this time.
Absolutely. Like, Hoops is a little bit more soft spoken sometimes, most of the time.
Sometimes. Yeah.
I think that Hoops' beauty was probably a little bit more relatable at the time. New York just comes off as a little bit more harsh. And at that time, I think that Hoops is just a little softer, just aesthetically and like how they present themselves. So yes, New York was doing like a little bit of a soft spoken voice, but she does come across as a little bit harsher, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
than Hoops. And I think it's just a little bit more palatable at that time to kind of accept Hoops's position.
Absolutely. Thundercat says there's no shame in being team hoops. Absolutely. I don't think anything's wrong with hoops at this time either. So yeah, like you said, we kind of gloss over a lot of the other women, but we do get some moments. We get the highlights from the hot tub, and it reminded me about some of these other women that claim that they were there for Flav, but when it came time for them to impress them, they all were very talented. We saw Peaches, I believe, playing her guitar, and then they
He rolled
even
his eyes
highlighted.
though. He didn't really like that. He
Yeah,
was like,
but yeah, he was like, okay. But then they also highlighted Sweetie, who had a big exit from the show. Flav saying that first she cooked the chicken for him, and Flav saying that I don't think you like me like you say you like me. Sweetie was in a full blown rap, on this one, and I don't think we saw that in the first clips.
no.
So had I saw that the first time, I probably would have been much more suspicious of Sweetie going in.
Absolutely. I think that that's probably why they didn't put it in,
Mm-hmm.
because like her storyline on the show was that she was sweet and she was like kind and didn't want to kiss and all that stuff. If they showed her doing something seemingly out of character too early, it wouldn't have really helped the storyline of her like doing something out of character later that Flavor clocks. So I think it was a story decision just to build up her character's progression. But they wanted to show it now, so they're using like the unseen bits to highlight that.
Yeah, we also got a clip of Sirius, I believe, throwing up outside of the van. She drank a lot of champagne that night in the hot tub, which is cool. Goldie threw up night one, and Goldie is an icon, so no shame there. But yeah, just remembering how young a lot of these women are, it's like, of course they indulged a little bit. They were partying, they were in a mansion, they were with a famous rapper. Like, let them have some fun.
Yeah, chugging champagne in a hot tub equals puke, 100%.
Every time.
That's actually like the formula.
It's science. Yeah.
It's science.
It's too many bubbles. You bubbles inside, bubbles outside.
Like chlorine smell. Like it's just that's like gross.
Yeah, it's part of growing up though. You gotta have those moments. Those moments
she's probably 22.
Fondly. Right. Oh God,
babies. First time having some champagne. You know what I mean?
You're right. Flav will go on to say that Hoops was still a mystery, but New York was his top pick, at least until they got to the senior citizen home, which, if we think back, was really hard for New York. She is not about the old folks. She said, I wasted my outfit. I wish I had known because I wouldn't have wore this here. And she ends up going outside, smoking a cigarette in stress because she just refuses to talk to these older people. But Hoops was at the hotel, back at the mansion, making friends a lot. And we see Hoops kind of bonding with Pumpkin and the other women. They're all dancing and this, that, and other. But when you cut to New York, we get the iconic scene of her fighting with Hottie, a.k.a. Luther Vandross, a.k.a. Beyonce. Chantel, one of the highlights of doing this with you was watching your reaction when Hottie and Luther Vandross were brought up in the same conversation because you had the pictures ready for us. It's so good. It's so good.
Wait, do you want them? I can probably pull them up again.
No. I just didn't understand like how you didn't get that. You never knew the context of where that like Beyonce, where it came from, and now it's 10 times better.
It's wild that like moments like I really had no idea were coming because you kind of teed that one up to me because you asked me earlier on the season like, oh, if she reminded me of any like celebrity or whatever or singer, and I was like, I guess she could be a Knowles, I think is what I had said, not knowing that I was going to be chastised for me considering her to be like Beyonce.
Yeah, you and Hottie were on the same page. I honestly think she was making points. Once we put the side by side, I'm not saying they were twins, but again, you can squint and see that there was some relation right there.
I don't think that. Oh my God, I just forgot her sister's name.
Oh, Solange.
I don't think that she looks that much like Beyonce, to be honest. And they are, as far as we know, full brother and sister. Now she could look more like the dad and than the mom or whatever. But I could see maybe her being a cousin. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
We also. Dad. We got the altercation between Pumpkin and Hottie that they don't really show in the episode because the New York and Hottie argument is a lot better. But Pumpkin, I think Hottie says, Pumpkin, I don't think you can read anytime we put anything of any simple reading material in front of you. You get quiet. And Hottie also says they're just jealous because she has all natural double Ds. And I feel like, is that something that women be bragging about? Like, oh yeah, y'all just jealous of me because I got natural breasts. Like, I don't think these women are thinking about your breasts, Hottie, as much as they out.
Well, okay, back in those days though, that's when like plastic surgery was starting to get on like a surgeons, right? And so to get like some double D boobs, you'd probably have to pay minimum $5,000. And so it was a time, I would say, where people talked about boobs and they would show boobs and stuff like that. And I do remember when I was younger being like, oh my God, she has big boobs. Like, oh my God, her boobs are bigger than, like, I do remember boobs being part of the conversation as a younger woman. So I could see this being a dig because, like, when she was with Pumpkin is not well, endowed in the boobage area. And so maybe she thinks that might be a hot button if she pokes that with Pumpkin. You know what I mean?
Do you think the women were jealous of Heidi's double D's?
I don't think jealous, but women, I would say some women do want bigger boobs. So there might have been a few people that have been like, oh, wow, like she has big boobs. So maybe. And I think they're bigger than double D's, to be honest.
I was about to say, look, I'm not here to objectify Heidi, but she had a lot going on up there. That's all I will say. Not to sound like a creep, but she had them out.
Like, it was huge.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll leave it at that. We get a clip of Hoops on a date with Flav. This is unseen footage as well. Hoops is playing ball with Flav. You see Pumpkin basically in awe that Hoops is so good at basketball.
She's pretty good.
Yeah, they even cut to I think it's like Heidi and Red Oyster like sitting on the sidelines like proud girlfriends watching Flav and Hoops ball. And to me, I'm like, man, this is really where she really starts to make all this connection with Flav because he does like her. She isn't opening up, intimately like a lot of the women are, but she's having these personal connections. Now, New York does not respect this. She says, Hoops isn't seductive. She's a good time girl. I said, what? She says, she's a girl you can just, shoot hoops with hoops, and then we get, of course, she says, and you can only go to the basketball court so many times. So she doesn't think this thing where Hoops has legs. And then we get the altercation between New York and Hoops, where New York antagonizes Hoops and Hoops threatens to throw the ball at her head. Now, what we didn't see is there's some follow-up because New York goes to the dinner table. It's like, Hoops, I want to revisit that argument we had. Are you going to throw the ball at me? I think that New York knows that Hoops would actually throw that ball at her. I think she's trying to get Hoops eliminated,
knowing that she was competition. So she was a bit of like a seer. She was recognizing that Hoops might be competition later down the road.
Yeah. Well, Pumpkin brings that up. She says, "Oh, why are you trying to do this? Because she's your number one competitor." And I'm sorry. New York's reaction, she goes, no, that's not why. That's not why. That's not why. That's not why. That is not why. That's not why. That is not why. That's not why. That's not why. And you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't even gotten into that. You should have sat there and ate your food because you need to shut the fuck up. And I said, oh my God.
You should have sat there and ate your food. That's true.
Another iconic GIF. If you can find the New York, you should have sat there and ate your food GIF. It's one of them fuck around and find out GIFs, it's like, hey, you didn't have no business over here in this conversation. These two, they have been at each other's throats all season. So it's not really a shock that the spit happens when you look at it through this lens.
Well, I think it can be because like Pumpkin was trying a little bit in the beginning, being like, we're trying to like you here, like the whole van fight, all that. Everybody's trying to like her. And if there's somebody that you're trying to like that just doesn't like you back, it just like actually builds up this resentment and tension. It's like, why is she like this? Why isn't she just nice? Like, why isn't she liking me? And like, she's such a bitch. I hate that girl. Like, it just like, it makes it, fuels it. And so at the end, being like, get out of here. And you're like, what do you mean get out of here? And then spit? Like, that it was building up because New York wasn't ever laying off and just like being normal.
Yeah. She doesn't do that. She does not decide to be normal at any point. And so it just doesn't mesh well with Pumpkin at all.
One thing that did surprise me though, because I think it was a producer who was interviewing Hoops, and she was like, oh, like you play basketball, whatever, but you're not tall. And she's like, yeah, I'm only 5'2". I did not think she'd only be 5'2".
So small. Yeah.
Teeny.
Yeah. But she said, I'm still good. I was like, all right. Okay.
She was still good with like the little move that she did, like. But 5'2", like that's like teeny.
Yeah. Hoops is a good character. Like she's not the most exciting person on the cast by any stretch of the imagination because there's so many big characters. But for when we do see Hoops, it does look very genuine that she's here. But she has some teeth. She wasn't gonna let New York talk to her. Even that altercation, New York just kind of brings it up like, how are you doing, Hoops? And she's like, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. She said, I only asked you once. I don't need your attitude. Like, from 0 to 100. It's so good. It's so good. New York ends up in basically Flav's top half. I think we kind of tracked this as well. She was getting her clocks very early on in a world where like Hoops was kind of toward the end. But then we get to see New York interact with Hoops' mom, and I'm sorry, with New York, with Flav's mom. And I'm sorry, I can't stop thinking of Matt Scott when he said, when New York is like, I'm a pure woman inside and out. And Matt said, I don't know what she means. I don't want to know.
I don't know either. Do you know?
Like, I know New York is lying. Whatever she said is a lie. So New York does not get mom's seal of approval. She wasn't feeling her like she was Hoops. And so this was big for Hoops, honestly. I think from this moment on, me and you both kind of flagged up like, okay, once mom started to like her, I think Flav started to take her more seriously. And he tells her her eyes, her mind, and her body all got him locked up. As long as she got him, he got him. And so we see their very first kiss. We don't get this on camera. Why do you think they didn't show us the Flav and Hoops' first kiss in the real time?
Well, I guess I think it's just telling the story, right? There was a bit of a progression. Maybe they wanted to save that. I don't remember when they actually showed their first kiss. Was it?
I think it was when they finally got their date. Yeah, it was a long time.
Maybe they wanted
to
keep it pure.
Yeah,
well, I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's definitely for the story, like to be like this is like the crescendo of their relationship. So, yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts? Like, I don't know.
No. I was just like very surprised that it happened so early on. I also love that they cut to New York sitting in the dining room, basically watching them kiss. New York is wearing full lingerie as she's sitting at the dining room table watching these two other people kiss. I was like, did she think he was like, is she waiting on him to come back to bed? Why is New York just walking around the house in lingerie and heels?
I don't know. Not sure.
She says she's not giving up on Flav, but it's eating her up inside, watching him get close to someone else. In the next episode, we will see that it goes there even more because they're going to go to Vegas and he's going to take her on a date. And they talk about how she's bothered by him being with other women. And he says, I don't like feeling like you always looking at me crazy when I'm talking to other women. And so Flav decides to test New York. He says, in order to make sure she's not here for TV, let's see what happens if I threaten to send her home. And he says, like, hey, I'm probably going to send you home. But if I did, and this didn't work out, would you wait for me? And New York's response is something to the effect of like, I'm your woman, but I'm not your woman right now. And you'll come back to me when it's all over. Did you believe New York in the middle of her spiral when Flav is basically saying, you're going home? How does that make you feel?
I think she was playing the game, right? I think she's very smart. I think she kind of understands probably her actual position in the game by the questions the producers are asking her. Like, I think she knows that Flav likes her. I think any part of her spiral was for the views, the clicks, the being on TV. And I think she was playing into this response because I just don't think she really fully actually believed that he was sending her home.
Yeah, he tells New York, don't tell anybody about this, and she says, okay, I'm going to keep the conversation to herself. But even in that conversation with Flav, she was acting so bashful. He's like, can I say something to you, New York? And she's like, no, yes. I mean, no. I mean, yes. I was like, okay, stop it. Cut it out. There were even moments where she's like, don't make me smile. I'm not going to smile. You're sending me home. I'm not going to smile. I was like, all right. And this is what, prior to that 30-minute kiss that they did at that same restaurant. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that she was taking it as flirting, as teasing, as, what's it, negging? That's like a new age term, like say something mean to get her to like you. Like, I think it was I think it was more playful. And I don't think she thought it was completely serious. So.
Right. So on the plane home, she demonstrates again how she can't quite deal with these other women because she says she's not bothered by Hoops giving Flav a lap dance. Oh, first of all, Flavor Flav is wild. You dating what 6 women at the time of this episode? They're all on the plane with you, and you just got one of them like straddling you on the plane. I think any of the women would be fully within their rights to be upset about that. You know, like you don't respect me at all. You see me sitting right here, but he don't care. And New York says she doesn't care either. She says Hoops is a whore, and she's bad at it too. And she's like an amateur trying to turn a guy on for the first time. But
could be true, right?
Maybe 23. She's 23. Who knows? Yeah,
you may have never given a lap dance before. Like never sat in the guy's lap in that way on TV. Right. Like it could be a first time.
Meanwhile, New York's talking like she's 35, 40 years old. She's an amateur, you know?
She might be like a half a year older because I think her birthday's in December.
Okay.
Or maybe it's I don't see the January, December, obviously. But like she could be a little bit older than Hoops.
She's more mature, just from the other 4 months between their ages. But when New York gets back to the house, she does admit to us that this is a bad time. She's like, I couldn't handle the plane thing. She said her and Flav are going to the Bahamas. She tells Red Oyster, of all people, Flav and I are going to the Bahamas to visit my family. And pause. Is her family from the Bahamas? Is New York Bahamian?
Do you say Bahamian or is it Bayesian?
Is it Bayesian? Is it which one?
Maybe it's both. I don't know. I don't know actually.
I see. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Chat, help.
Right. But that's the thing.
I didn't know. Yeah, what would you think she was?
Well, that's the thing. You know, now that people have been pointing out that you in New York kind of favor Chantele, you know, your people from the islands too. Is this your cousin?
My mom's from Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad, well, he's born in England, but his parents are from Antigua and island outside of Antigua.
But she didn't say my family are from the Bahamas. She said they're in the Bahamas.
Oh, actually, well, she does seem like she comes from a bit of an affluent family. So maybe they spend some time in Bahamas. Maybe they have a home there. So I don't know specifically if her family are from there, but she doesn't look Jamaican to me.
Yeah,
maybe Antiguan, but she doesn't look Jamaican. She looks more Bayesian than Jamaican.
Okay. Look, I'm just saying.
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, what do I know?
Look, y'all. All I'm saying is, like Luther Vandross and Hottie, you in New York, kind of, you know, there's some shared something there. Maybe it's from the islands.
Maybe. Honestly, sometimes I see pictures. I'm like, okay, I see it now, guys. I see it. My friend was like, oh my God, she looks like baby Chantele. And I'm like, you know what? When I was her age, I can see it now. I need to find some photos for you so you can see it too. Actually.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do some side by sides. Maybe we'll do that at the reunion episode. We get a lot of action from the chat. Chocolate Sooner points out that New York is an actress. She was playing it up. Okay. She even talks about my different voice inflection. I love the New York voice. It's my favorite thing about her.
It's a good one. It's good, and you do it well.
I've seen this season so many times. I can do it. I can quote most of her lines. Harmony points out that I think it is Bahamian and Bayesian is people from the Barbados.
And you said, we said Bahamas. I think you're right. Yes, yes.
We got there. We got it figured out. Thundercat said maybe New York's from Jamaica, Queens. and Blaine says, are y'all going to be covering Rock of Love as well? We intend on covering the Of Love universe, okay?
Yeah, so that'll be far away though, right? Because we're going to do them in order as they aired, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and so because they're in order, it's not that far away. I hope that we have all of the material. You know, like right now we're watching these on YouTube, and so you know we found a good channel. But I'm hoping that we got all of it because I really. I
feel like the same one has season 2 because season 2 pops up like the thumbnail. So I feel like whatever we've been watching season 1, I feel like season 2 will be easy to find. And I feel like as we go like closer to the years of now, like 2007, 2008, it might just be easier to find.
To find them, yeah.
I think.
We got plenty of time to look.
We got time to look. We got time.
Yeah. Okay. So, New York, of course, shares this information about this trip to the Bahamas with Red Oyster, who is the last person in the world you want to tell anything to, because Red Oyster immediately runs it back to Flav. And then Flav comes and confronts New York, and she's like, "No, I didn't say that." And Flav's like, "I believe you. They're trying to put salt on your name, baby girl." At this point, if I'm New York, I'm feeling like I got this in the bag, you know, because she definitely said that shit. And he didn't even believe Red Oyster. And he loved Red Oyster when she was running information back to him.
And what it's kind of like, it shows you believe when you believe what you want to believe, right? So if he did not like New York, he'd be like, "Oh, she's out. She's got to go." So I think that that's how Red Oyster was able to influence him, is when he like needed a good excuse to get rid of somebody. And this is a good one. Oh, like, oh, you have a husband, a man at home that you like more. Okay, like, let's get rid of her. Like, I think it helped him get rid of the people that he didn't like, but it didn't work with New York because he liked her.
Yeah, and at this point, New York is already saying she's the future Flavor, Mrs. Flavor Flav. But one hiccup. Gita shows up. Brigitte Nielsen is here. I love when Gita and Foofy link up, but we get some background on kind of the tension between them. And this is very surprising to me. Now, I remember watching it for sure, but she comes in mad once she finds out that, in her words, 2.5 women have been sleeping in his bed. She is not okay. And he argues that she has a whole boyfriend. She's been taking pictures with this man on the beach. In fact, her boyfriend is at the hotel while Gita is on this side mission. And she got the nerve to be mad at him for dating other people. What did you think about this whole argument? Because when he says, "You want your cake and eat it too," she said, "I don't even like dessert."
Okay, I think I was on Flav's side a bit, because it's like, how could you be mad when you got a whole boyfriend, like, and you're posting things? But I think that both of their relationship is kind of like, they like kind of fighting and fucking kind of thing. Like, it seems like they like getting into weird little tension, and like that turns them on. So I think it's part of their dynamic is to have some like combativeness in what they see is going on. Also, Bridget knew that she's coming to the show to see her ex date a bunch of women, and so her getting mad about that, it wasn't necessarily, but maybe it was to create drama. I don't know. But she should have had an idea that he's probably going to be dating some women, since he has a dating show that he's asked you to come and talk to some of these women, right?
How would you feel if you were in Gita's situation, where your ex, who you have this tension with, is like, "I want you to come in and vet my new girl that I'm dating, or a bunch of girls that I'm thinking of"? Like, how do you feel in that situation?
I would actually probably do a good job. Like, I actually would probably take it seriously, because if I'm at the position where he would want to be inviting me to help him find someone new, then we would probably have a pretty good relationship. And so I would probably want to find the best person for him. So I would take it seriously.
I would not like this. I don't want to be involved in anybody. No, leave me alone. That's why I block women.
Well, you said you're not friends with your exes.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because of this shit like
so
this.
Would you sabotage?
No, you don't call me. Do not ask me to do some shit like this, because I'm not going to go.
Called you? What if it was like $1 million coming?
Okay, I'm there for $1 million. I'm a cheap. Listen, clearly folded like a cheap trick. I was like, $1 million bet. You could have got me for 1,000. Honestly, look, I just wouldn't like it. I feel like it's disrespectful to all parties involved, right? Like, especially if it's something like Gita and Foofy, where they have. It seems like some unfinished business. You know, it doesn't look like they were left off on good terms completely when it comes to the status of their relationship. She clearly feels a way. Flav tells us multiple times that she still loves him. So why would you bring a woman that you know still loves you to do this? You know, like, you got to have another ex. There has to be another ex that you don't have such strong feelings for.
There's also not another ex likely that you just had, a whole moment with on TV.
show,
so they're banking,
right.
They're using the audience that might have watched This is real life, or watch their other show, or this is a gateway. And so yeah. Like maybe it was the producers were like, sorry, yeah, Bridget has to come. And they're like, I don't want to. And they're like, well, we're going to pay you a certain amount of money. So it could be one of those things as well.
I think definitely this argument and just the tension of it all is what leads us to the Bridget and Hoops fight that we get in that episode where she's just not having it. But the two of them kiss and he sends her on her way, you know, while he goes and gets back into this with this other girl. Again, too much kissing other people too. Like, you can't be kissing everybody. Y'all, I'm surprised people don't get mono on these shows. Does that not?
Probably do,
no? I was like, am I approved? But that stuff has always bothered me. Like, even on The Bachelor, you start kissing people each other. I'm like, you ain't gotta kiss me.
I'm always curious about on like the same night. Or how do you feel like on like Love Island where they do like
that's too much.
That's
too much. Y'all don't know where people's mouths been.
Well, you've been in the villa with them. You kind of know a little bit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But you also know where their mouth's been. It's been there. It's been there. It's been there. It's been there. Like, hey, no. It's just no.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably have a problem if somebody kissed somebody else right before they kissed me, and it's not in like a weird drunken moment or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they're being serious about these kisses, and like. Yeah, I don't think I'd be down for that.
Exactly.
I was a kissing bandit at one point, though. But
I'm sorry, what? Oh yeah, that's different. That's different. Now look, we all like to party. Okay, who are me to shame somebody for having a good time at a bar? I'm not gonna judge nobody. I've been there, but to me, it's just like y'all all living together, kissing each other, sleeping in the same bed. It's like, all right, at some point. I need this to be sanitary, you know? Like, I don't know y'all like that. It just, yeah. They said, what about behind closed doors? Now, behind closed doors is probably fine, I guess. I just don't need to know. Did you kiss a bunch of people? Like, I don't know. It just made me uncomfortable because again, my mouth, your mouth, they mouth is too much. It's too many mouths. If I want to kiss them, I'd kiss them. I'm not going to kiss them. Right. The chat is...
what if one has halitosis and passes the halitosis saliva, you know?
Or something else, you know, the herpes or something, you know what I'm saying? A cold sore. So Nancy in the chat says a kissing bandit. Chantele, you want to elaborate on what a kissing bandit is or what you were when you were a kissing bandit?
Kissing bandit is somebody that will always find somebody to make out with at a bar.
Mm-hmm.
A new stranger.
Yeah.
You just make out with them in the corner. Like, you know,
forget about it later on. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's a good time.
It's a good time.
Look, it's not my ministry, but I've dabbled. You know, like I've been in the tree. I've been outside before. You know, so I no judgment here. I just feel like that's 20.
I was their age. You know, like
right, exactly. That was the time. We're adults now, and not judging anybody who's an adult who's still doing that. I'm just saying, take care of yourself. You know, it's tough out here. So. We get to the final four, I think, and we kind of get the flashbacks to them on when they go to their different resorts or whatever. Hoops was there in the daytime. Pumpkin was there at night. He wanted to give somebody else a chance, and we saw that happened with Pumpkin. In San Diego, though, he was feeling New York. She is having a bad time with the animals, but he couldn't resist taking Goldie up to the suite. And now we get to see what happened basically when Goldie goes from really putting the moves on Flav to when she gets up into the hotel room. And it was not like the Pumpkin night. You know, when Pumpkin got to the hotel room, she got down to business. When Goldie got up there, she pulled back a lot, Chantele. He was like really trying to get it going. And it seemed like she wasn't even trying to kiss him that much.
She's probably 24. You know what I mean? Like, she's still a young girl. And it is a little bit intimidating, like closing the door with somebody your father's age, like no camera. Like, I don't know. It just could be a little bit unsettling, right?
You ain't gonna get no argument from me. I like Goldie. Like, I was shocked. You know, I'm shocked by all of this. All of this happening is really, it feels like a fever dream that we really sat through a whole season of this show, and now we can look back on it now. So we get down to the final three because, of course, Goldie she said she didn't give her all to Flav, and she meant her body. And obviously, this didn't work for him. You know, he felt like she was kind of like trying to force something, right? Like that they didn't have that romantic connection. They had a good vibe. Goldie is a fan favorite throughout the season. Obviously, like you just watched it now and you don't know. Like people were going up for Goldie. It's very clear. So people were sad to see her go, but it made sense, right? Because it's like if you're not ready to make that move, there are 3 other women that he's supposed to be trying to plan a real dating situation with them. And so although they're young, I do understand kind of where she was coming from. So down to the final 3, we meet the moms, Chantele. Now, and this is where shit gets real. Hoops' mom is cool. She kind of flirting with Flav, but we overlook it because it's Hoops' mom. We kind of like, all right, whatever, it's fine. But then we get Sister Patterson, aka New York's mom. And you already alluded to it earlier. I forgot she asked if Flav had gotten New York on drugs.
Are you on drugs?
Are you on drugs? You good?
You good?
Yeah, we're gonna look back on this and laugh.
Did you say something about like you want to like kiss all up on that?
She was in denial and at the same time appalled, right? So she's like, this is not happening, Tiffany. This is not happening. No, that's not. No, I'm not allowing this. Tiffany's like, I love him. I'm going to have this baby. She's like, no, you're not. And then we had the moments where she's like, are you on drugs? Are you okay? Are you being held hostage? Is everything all right? It had to be jarring for her. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier, but she is probably of means. It does feel like Sister Patterson comes from means. And so this lady probably didn't raise New York to go date a 46-year-old rapper, like at the age of 23. Like she's probably hoping that she finds somebody a bit closer to her age.
Harvard grad, whatever.
Right, a little bit more serious vibe, whereas Flav is like, Flav. And so I think for her, she just wasn't having it. It just wasn't it. But she was going through all the emotions, trying to process, like, what are you doing here in New York?
It's like, are you good? Like,
right.
Are you okay?
Right. And her, no disrespect to Mr. Alex, but New York's dad does not seem to have that same energy at all. He's like, it's fine.
Well, it seems like Mama wears the pants in the family here.
Absolutely.
And, he's agreeable, we'll say. He's definitely the person that New York would go to and be like, yeah, can I have some money, Dad? Like, because their mom would probably say no. So, I definitely think that he might be a little bit of a kind pushover. I don't want to say pushover, but I don't know another word for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now he's agreeable. He goes with the flow. He knows what kind of women he have in his household. And I think you have to have that kind of demeanor to survive that kind of household. Because between New York and Sister Patterson, could you imagine if they ever got like a shouting match, the two of them? Like, I feel like it'd be explosive.
With the mom and daughter? Yeah.
Oh my God.
World
Even
War III.
when she was calling her fat in the van, she's like, or I think they were in a limo. She's like, oh my God, Tiffany, you're getting so fat. And she's like, don't call me fat. And she's like, she had the audacity to call me fat in front of my future husband. Like, I just feel like it's a powder keg in there. And so Mr. Alex has to be very zen.
Absolutely.
To get through.
He needs to keep those women calm for sure.
Mm-hmm. We, of course, have to talk about Pumpkin's mom. Mama Pumpkin comes and she blows Pumpkin's spot completely. She tells Flav, like, oh, this isn't the first time she's done a game show. She's done 4 game shows, a talk show, and now this. We talked about it at the time, but hearing her listed off, she's always like, I did Blind Date, and then I did Friend or Foe, and then I did a couple talk shows, and now this. It does sound like a lot of TV work for somebody who is potentially here for Flavor Flav. It seems like she could have been here for anybody.
She could have been here for anybody, 100%. I stand by that. I do not think that she is like that. She was going into it really wanting to be with Flavor Flav. I do think she wants the TV time. And the fact that she said, I'm not here just to be on TV means that she was here to be on TV. And I think I said this when we originally talked about this episode, that she might be in that database. Like once you're on one show, they might be calling you to be on other shows if they need other people. If you've done all like the psych tests and all that stuff, it's just like easy to funnel you into another show with that. Like if you're not like super fresh. So that's probably one of the reasons why she's been on so many shows. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like maybe a consistent casting producer or a consistent agency that was like been used to cast all these shows, which could be why that she's been on multiple, but she's just there to be on TV.
Yeah. Look, I don't know if Pumpkin does much more TV. I can definitely think of a couple things that she does. Don't Google it because I don't want to ruin anything for you. But yeah, she does a couple more things, but I really don't think she could have foreseen the amount of TV time she would get just based on this spit, right? Because she's doing these dating shows. And I think all of those things, if they're from TV, that's a very calculated thing that you're doing, right? Like, you know, you're going on to the TV. That's your goal, is to be on TV. You might want to go on dating show, you might go on game show, whatever, but you like to be in front of the camera. That spit made her more famous than any other thing that she could have ever done. You know, like, she is tied. She's tethered to New York in reality TV history from that moment on. And it probably goes away if New York doesn't go on to be one of the biggest reality TV contestants of all time. So
now, would you think that New York would do it if they invited Pumpkin to be on House of Villains 3? Like, imagine they brought them back together, like, 25 years later. Not less than that, 20-something.
I don't know. Like, I just, you know, New York does like money. We know that because she'll
say yes to the gig.
She'll say, yeah, but would she? You know, like, I don't know if that's a thing you can let go. I think New York has made the best of her TV experience, right? I think, like, that could have broken anybody else. You know, you got spat on TV. You know, like, I think a lot of people would be like, I'm done with TV. New York has turned that into a lucrative career as, like, one of the faces of reality TV. So maybe she would be willing to do it. I think it would be damn near impossible to get Pumpkin to go. I think there's no upside to Pumpkin ever being on TV again.
$200,000? Like, you know.
I don't know. Like, Chantele, you saw your reaction. We watched it. And that was your reaction. Imagine the world's reaction. People, think about it like this. Prior to this, the biggest villain on TV was like Omarosa and Jerry Manthe, and they did not spit on anybody. So imagine the type of, like, vitriol, the type of, like, infamy that she got at the time.
Sue Hawk,
yeah, like, and they were normal human beings. This lady spat on somebody, and on a ghetto ass game show. Like, I'm like, this ain't got the class and, like, irreverence that Survivor has. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, to me, there's clout, there's money, but there's a limit, and I think that you can't spit on nobody and then go try to go be back on TV.
So this was the last show that Pumpkin did, or you said that she did a couple others?
We will see Pumpkin again in this journey, but not with New York. Like, it's not a, yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just, that's tough. All right, so we're down to our final two. We got Hoops. We got New York. I'll put them back up on the screen again because I love looking at them both. They're so crazy. They're so good. They're so good for this season. And they go meet with Big Rick because Big Rick is going to make them grills to match Flavor Flav because his woman is going to need golds in their mouth. I almost wore my grill for the
I thought you were going to. And I was trying to think if I could find something to put in my mouth to fake the grill, but I didn't have anything good.
No. Don't fake the grill. It's a bad look. So
well, not fake the grill, but like
it's bad luck. With. I'm telling you, it's bad luck. You gotta.
Oh, bad luck! I think you said a bad look.
No, bad luck. Bad luck. Because I'm superstitious about my mouth jewelry. But no, I would have worn it. But it's really hard to podcast with those teeth. There, you know, like, it sounds weird. When we're at the live shows, I'm never wearing them until we get to the after party, basically. Because on stage, God knows, what if they fall out? You know, like that's so nasty. Of all the shows you've seen, is this the most absurd, like, gift that somebody has given somebody, is, like, as far as, like, they're being in the final two? Like, in The Bachelor, they just do the roses the entire time, right?
I believe so. Yeah, roses for the Bachelorette or the Bachelor. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is grills. This is different. Flav is not the same type of guy.
I'd find it funny if I was on the actual season, being like, okay, let's give this a try.
Yeah, not to gas you up, Chantele, you have a beautiful smile. Would you wear a grill?
Well, I did have braces, and I really loved having braces.
You loved, wait, pause. You loved having braces? I don't know anybody who enjoys braces.
it might have been like a social status type thing when I was like 12. So
Okay.
like
The cool
everybody
kids were doing it.
cool had braces at the same time. And so like I was in like the cool braces gang. And so it could have been like social standings. Like I liked having braces. I also liked having like the elastics. And so I'd get different color elastics each month.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would probably like a grill because it would just be
Ooh.
like a nice smile with like a little bit of bling, a little jewelry. Now, I do have to say though, my brother wanted a grill when he was younger. And I just thought it was really embarrassing that he went to like our orthodontist to get a grill fit in
That
when
is
he was like
embarrassing.
19. I mean, obviously it's going to be a good grill, but I was just like, that's so ungangsta. You know what I
It
mean?
is.
To have like a grill made by like your ortho.
Yeah.
But you know,
When I was in high school, I got my first grill made in the back of somebody's, like out the trunk of someone's car. They did like basically the thing that Big Rick did, but in the parking lot of the mall in Houston. And I was so excited. And then I realized I could never show my mother. And so first of all, it wasn't real because who could afford that in high school? So I don't know. I don't remember how much I spent for it, but I know that that shit was not real. So I was like making sure to take it out all the time. Like, oh, like you can only wear it so often because God knows what you're putting in your mouth. But now my current mouth jewelry is definitely all real. And I got it made at a jeweler, you know. But I never thought to take my mouth to the orthodontist to get fitted for a grill. But it makes sense.
I wouldn't have thought to ask him, but you know, my brother did.
Yeah. But yeah, the little mouth jewelry. Chocolate Sooner in the chat says do a tooth jewel. You know, I love it. I think I just smile a lot. And so I feel like since I'm smiling so much, I'll get a little something else to look at. Yeah. We're from the same malls, Chocolate Sooner. That's crazy. Oh, gotta go to a grotto at ATL. Real. Okay. So that's it. The winner of this show will get a brand new grill to match that of Flavor Flav's and a Flavor Flav to match. And so for the finale, we're looking at Hoops. I'm sorry, Hoops versus New York. I almost said Hoops versus Pumpkin. As they fly off to Mexico, I believe.
Mhm.
And so they're going to be having their final days and final date and final ceremony. Well, final date in Mexico. And I think they fly back to the mansion for the final clock ceremony. And so, Chantele, that's it. We are one episode away from the finale, season 1 of Flavor of Love. And then we have a explosive reunion as well. But I need to know your final predictions. We've talked about this. We've had a couple weeks off. You've forecasted before that you think maybe we pick nobody. Is that what your final answer is, Chantele?
Well, I'm thinking maximum impact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we know that that he's wanted to keep New York this whole season. He's been letting her know that he does like her. She tells him that I love you, I'm in love with you. But the mom loving Hoops, I think, is going to be beneficial for her potentially winning the season. So I think what might happen is that he may choose Hoop for maximum impact on a finale episode to see New York spiral.
Ooh.
And it might be that he ends up with Hoops in the end and New York throwing some sort of tantrum and like having a very explosive exit, which would, yeah, that's the way I think we're going. I think that either that and then my secondary choice would be choosing no one because we know that there's a season 2. But right now, or maybe he chooses Hoops, New York spirals, they get into like a fight or an altercation or something like that. Maybe Hoops say like, I don't even want to be with you. And then he ends up with no one or something like that too. Like maybe it was like someone gets chosen and then they decide, no, I don't want this. But yeah, I think it's going to be an explosive finale, like you said. And part of it, I think, will be that New York will spiral out in some capacity.
All right. This question is very similar. Who are you rooting for to win?
Well, I want New York to win, but I just don't know if I see her winning because of there's season 2. So, well, I mean, I like Hoops too. I don't
world
mind
where New York wins and then they just break up before season 2.
No, because isn't she involved in season 2? Or is she going to be like the Bridget of season 2, and she comes in to go talk to these women as like an ex?
I'm not at liberty to discuss season 2 with you, ma'am. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess we're going to find out. I don't know.
Hey, and that's okay. We'll find out soon because we're going to come back. I don't know. What are you doing this week? Like, what are you doing at the end of this week? What's your Friday looking like? Yeah.
This week, I'll be somewhere, but I might be somewhere stationary.
Okay. Well, look, we'll try to aim for next week, but I wouldn't mind doing it sooner if possible.
Let's see. I will be. Oh, it'd be kind of late on the Friday. I would be in Calgary.
Ooh.
But I land at like 8 p.m. Calgary time, so that's like late. That's like 10:20 Eastern.
Okay.
Oh, it's that same time zone as you, or you're one more?
I'm Central. It's 1 hour behind.
And then the Saturday, yeah, it's not good.
Listen,
not
it sounds like we'll be back next week, and we're gonna come back next week to find out for Chantele who the winner of Flavors of Love season 1. And so, please make sure you subscribed to the podcast, youtube.com/@Recap Kickback, so you can see all of our visuals here, obviously our faces, our reactions to what is going on.
Do I need to record anything?
No, not necessarily. I think we got the big moment. We got the big moment. But there is more to come for sure. But yeah, if everybody subscribe, recapkickback.com/subscribe, youtube.com/@recapkickback. Follow Recap Kickback on all social media platforms. And that way you will know when it's time for us to go live and when we will talk about this. Thank you all to the chat. Harmony, I see you in here talking to your twin. Harmony says they'll be there if you're there. Between the three of you,
a beret for you, Harmony.
Yeah, look, we got to get New York in a beret, and then we have all three of you lined up together. But we'll be back next week. Chantele, tell everybody where they can find you, what you got going on until then.
What do I have going on? Well, at Fran on Instagram, Reality Illness with 3 S's on YouTube, where I have been covering the challenge season 41. This season's pretty good so far. We're going into episode 4. I think 3 or 4, and it's been good so far. So hopefully it's continuing for the next, 16 episodes that we still have to go. Hopefully it continues with an upward trending here. But yeah, we usually go live, usually right after the episode. So I do forfeit Big Brother on Wednesdays to watch the challenge and then recap right after. So likely we'll be doing the same this week as well. And I will be on Nerdtainment at 7 p.m. Eastern this week on Wednesday to recap the first episode of Australia versus the World, or Survivor Australia versus World, whatever the title is. Definitely talk about episode 1. Maybe we'll do episode 1 and 2 if we have enough time. That's also a season that's been fun so far. So I've only watched episode 1. I'm gonna watch episode 2 right now. And yeah, I can't wait. So far, it's pretty good.
Well, episode 3 will be out in the morning, so maybe you will talk about that too on Nerdtainment. No,
maybe I'll talk about all of it. I just don't know if I'll do all of it on Wednesday. But,
Gotcha. Okay, and you could catch my Australian Survivor coverage over on RHAP on the Survivor Global feed. Shannon is hosting. Puya, Mike, and I are taking every day of the week to talk about Australian Survivor. It is a great season. I've also been keeping up with the challenge, because I wanted to see some of my Survivor and Big Brother friends. I in my mind, I love these people, and so I want to see how they would do. And I've been enjoying the season too. So make sure you check out Chantele's coverage over there. Make sure you follow me at Recap Kickback on all social media platforms to keep up with what else I got going on. Mari and I will be back. I was on the Was It Good Though podcast last week talking about something I don't remember. This week I'll be on their podcast again talking about Love Jones because it's one of my favorite older movies. Yes, and
I love Nia Long. You're a Nia Long lover,
of course, you? Of course. To
She's
this
like
day.
my friend Marge growing up. When I was always like, "Oh my God, you look like Nia Long."
God bless her and Marge because they are beautiful. But yeah, so I'll be talking about Love Jones on the Was It Good Though podcast. And then, of course, other various RHAP and Recap Kickback things. But that's it, y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for joining the chat. Thank y'all for watching us live here on YouTube. For Chantele and for myself, you ain't got to go home, but we will catch you all next time. Peace. I've been trapped behind Maria, isolated like
looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.